We are live. Thank you everybody for tuning in. It is November 1st here, and well, we're pretty excited. I mean, the election's coming up. And the election is going to be bringing a lot of paydays for people because they have prepared themselves, they have identified the opportunities, and they positioned themselves within those opportunities for their waters to rise. And the great thing is, this is something that is a principle that should be remembered by all who are interested in helping the nation heal. You know, if you've followed me for any period of time, of course, you are aware of how I perceive this time that we're in right now. And if you've been following me for a really long time, you know that I've been preparing for today since 2008. And it is the thing that I would love to see happen is the people that I work with become empowered in leading their communities. And the reason for that is because I know how nations are built. And they are never built by governments. They are always built by people. Now, to the degree that people are free, the nation is free. It is a free people that make a free nation. It's never the government. Never. And the foundation of freedom, especially when we have a world that is absolutely wrought with corruption in the financial markets, that basis of freedom that we can exercise outside of their system without fighting it is our own individual economics. And so we're starting off with those individual economics. And the purpose of Trading Titans, when I started it in 2019, was to help people take advantage of the opportunities that are in the market and simply be a part of the smart money wave. And here's the biggest reason why. It's because in order for those leaders to rise, in order for those leaders to be in positions where they are able to help people the most, it's important that they take on a paradigm shift of what wealth is. And this comes from my mentor from 2011, 2012. He would say, my prosperity prospers 10,000 people, and their prosperity prospers me. I've got a light to fix, I can see. My intention here is for you to prosper. But then, of course, beyond that, my intention is that as you prosper and gain that economic independence that you need in order for you to be free from the corrupt banking cartels that run the world, in order for that to occur, as it occurs, I want to instill these principles upon you so that we can all work together in healing our nation. That's the objective here. So I am not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you exactly what give you financial advice or anything like that. I'm just simply sharing with you what I'm doing and how I do it. And what you're tuning into here every morning at about 7:15 or so, somewhere between 7:15 and 7:30, I start going live, analyzing charts. And it's simply just to give people kind of like a pulse on the market. And I'll explain everything that it is that I know, and I look forward to hearing more comments and more perspectives about what's happening during this great wealth transfer, this great reset. I don't really call it the Great Reset. That was more Klaus Schwab that coined it that. I've been calling it the global currency reset since 2013. Because that's just what we know is going on. All of the currencies are resetting. We're going away from time-based commodities into data-backed commodities. So it only makes sense that the currencies are going to go data-backed, digital. And here we are. Here we are. We're in the middle of it right now. It's happening. I mean, this whole last 4 years, the pandemic and all that stuff, that was the distraction to get people all riled up and get them into a state of fear. That's what the intention of this last 4 years was, in order to bring in this new level of slavery, where instead of having slavery over your time, they put you into digital slavery, where the commodity of your data is the thing that they're controlling. The value of your data, in the same way that the value of your time has been diminished over the last 40 years, arguably the last 100 years, due to inflation. In the same way, they want to have control over the value of your data. Because this is just the direction that we're going. I mean, if you don't like it, I get it. I don't particularly care for all this digital stuff either, even though I work in the field. We're working away from using these screens. I mean, yes, to interact with each other live, but how do you know it's me nowadays? How do you know it's a real being and not an AI? Our objective here is to be able to get away from these entirely, where we only use these to connect with others live. And that the machine does the labor for us. But when you have a digital ID that is actually run by an AI, now there's going to be regulations involved, especially when there's an institution, several institutions, that are implementing digital IDs in order for you to use their banking system. See, now that's where they gain control over your data. And P.S., if you don't have good data, or if you don't have enough of it, they'll probably have a poor social credit score. You see how important it is that we have economic independence? That's why we're here. That's why we're here. We're here to identify the opportunities that are going to be just like a rocket ship, taking us off of this demeaning monetary system. And we create our own future, our own economics, our own communities, and of course, by extension, our own nations. So thank you to everybody for tuning in. This is a passion project of mine, and I'm excited to see where we go. So let's open up some charts and actually start analyzing. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. Look forward to getting to know you and meet you even, if possible. But feel free to follow me. If you have any questions, you can even private message me as well, especially on X. And there's my profile. Oh, I just need the charts. Here we go. And then I just need to share my screen. There we are. All right. Oh, I don't need a market summary. Let's go to the super charts. Starting off with silver. Silver had that beautiful retracement that I talked about yesterday. In fact, it retraced all the way down to, oh, I got my screen is giving me problems there. And I can tell I'm also going to need to move over. There we are. So there we have it. That retracement yesterday actually went all the way down to 32.5. Really encouraging to see. That's a solid retracement, finding support at this level. It will likely go ahead and start extending upwards to the 36 level, but I do expect some resistance here at the 35 35.3 level. Once we get past that, get a leg up over that, I expect that the retracement will likely grab either 34.8 or 34.4 as support. Right now you can see I've got my squiggly line here. It definitely got followed somewhat. My squiggly line didn't go as high as the markets did. But here's my next squiggly line. So from here, we'll likely see an extension coming up to, yeah, this is a 35.2, possibly even here, and then finding support back at this level here, the 34.3-ish, you know, and then moving onwards from there. So this high here, I expect these two highs to be forming the next support. So if you don't miss, if you're not able to get into this particular growth here, because this oh, I did it again. This growth here from where we are right now to that target at 36.5, that's an 11% growth right off the bat. Now you can't go wrong even if you buy here. It's technically still on sale in my mind because silver should be about 1/8 to 1/10 the price of gold. So if it's not, if you're not able to buy now, don't worry about it. It's still going to be a good buy up here. But if you want to maximize your returns, buy low, sell high. And the retracements are for buying. So right now we're in a retracement. It's a great time to buy. You'll find more leverage as we move up. Gold also had a nice retracement, very nice retracement, pulling back all the way down to 27.35. And since that time has been inching its way back up again. Let's just look at the 15-minute chart to see some more detail. Oh, look at that, eh? So here you can even see within the last hour or so, lots of back and forth movement, likely getting ready for the opening of the markets here, which just happened about 2 minutes ago. And yeah, we'll see what happens here. I know that as faith in the markets go down, faith in metals go up, and no exception here. No exception here. That's why we're forming all-time highs so consistently over the last, you know, a good month or so. Oh, no, April. April is when we really started to kick it up into high gear. Yeah, March is when it really took off. And then ever since then, forming new highs consistently. So the faith in the markets is definitely going down. But the only reason why the markets are still showing this type of growth is because of the inflation. Remember, this is what we're seeing here is not the representation. This is the S&P 500, by the way. This is not a representation of the value of the S&P 500. No, this is this is a reflection of the value of the currency, which is just dropping constantly. So as this energy builds up, this is not typically how it's supposed to happen. As faith in the markets go down, the price is supposed to go down, but it keeps on going up even though the faith is going down. Well, that's manipulation of the value of the currency like we were talking about before. They manipulate the value of the means of exchange. That's how they control the economics. Dow Jones, not really much of a difference here. Its all-time high formed a while ago, 21st of October, is down right now, retraced. Looks like it's actually dropped below the previous low, and that could be an indication. I mean, we've had that happen before, like here, and then it's maintained some more growth. So we could still see some more bullish movements towards that all-time high, especially leading up to the election here. But I believe that after the election, we'll start to see some new patterns simply because of the new economic outlook that everybody thinks is possible because some specific orange man now sits in the throne. NASDAQ. NASDAQ, we've got a nice retracement as well, even a little bit below the last bullish movement, but looks like it's finding support already today. And yeah, it's hanging out at that $20,000 level. Good old NASDAQ. Japanese markets, haven't really been moving a lot lately. A lot of consolidation here over the last few weeks. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and just put this box right here so you can see where I'm looking at. This consolidation is a sign of accumulation. So there's a lot of indecision happening, but a lot of people are moving things around. So when it goes up and down like that, this is an indication that we're likely to make a shot out of this little box in one direction or the other. My bias is down, but I mean, who knows how long they're going to keep printing? Like literally, who knows how long? And really, it's a countdown between whether or not the people themselves, the individuals within the nations, like for instance, Americans, once they clue in that that dollar is worthless, once they clue in to the level of corruption that their dollar has been subjected to, we're going to see major corrections in the market. Let's get on to the interesting things. This is where the money is headed. Okay. Now, I went through these first things because this gives us a little pulse on the market. But when it comes right down to it, all of these here, even gold and silver, not as quickly. I think gold and silver will probably phase out more, 5 to 10 years. But even gold and silver, all of these markets are on their way out because they're based off of the old model. This is a reset. Everything is being completely rerouted into the digital space. And the reason why is because data is the commodity of the future, especially when we've got industries like nanotechnology, synthetic biology, quantum computing, AI, blockchain. All of these things are data driven, and they are the driving forces behind the fourth industrial revolution. And so now we analyze digital assets. NPC coin, really great little ecosystem, great community of people who are taking advantage of how ridiculous the world has gotten by identifying the normies, as non-playable characters, just repeating the program. And there's an entire community about it. And over the last couple of weeks, the amount of money that has come into this particular ecosystem, this particular community rather, it's really gone up. And so when we see this type of price action, it's really encouraging. We're not dipping back down. I mean, if we do, I would expect it to maybe drop down to about 2.1 cents. That's where I see there being another support level. But we might be finding support here and then moving upwards. Now, when it moves up, there is no telling how far it's going to go. But there are a lot of people that I follow who are of the mind this has every potential to go to $1. Well, it's only 3 cents right now. So if you feel like 25 and 30xing your money, this might be an opportunity for you. Now, obviously, again, this isn't financial advice, but here's what I'm doing. Back in beginning of July, I took a position, and then I took another one when it was lower on the 7th of September. Between those two prices, my average buy price is about 1.5 cents. And since that time, that first trade has gone up. Where is it? There it is. That first trade has gone up 80%. In fact, at the all-time high, it would have been even more. And then my second trade that I took in the beginning of September, that one did actually peak out at that all-time high with 178% return. Now, and that was a very short period of time as well. Take a look. Oh, grab it. There we go. Short period of time. That happened in a matter of 34 days. Now, I anticipate it going higher, and so I didn't sell then. I maintained it, and I'm going to keep on staying inside here until well after the election for sure. I want to see what happens. I want to see what happens to this price action. Sundog is another meme coin that I got into on the Tron network, and over the last week, it's actually dipped down quite a bit. And this is the perfect time to reaccumulate. Now, I'm a little over leveraged right now, simply because of the whole timing of this great reset. But so I'm not going to add to my position. But even my position that I took, back in at the September 24th, I'm down quite a ways. Like, what is this? Probably 40%, 50%. Yeah, I'm down right now 59%, but I'm not too concerned about it because, again, I know where this is going and this can easily come back up. And this one is definitely very poised to go to $1. So that Sundog. Bonk is another meme coin. This one's on the Solana network. And I believe, yeah, this one here, I'd put a little bit in here at the very top of this, high, as this pennant was forming. And so right now I'm down 17%. Again, this chart looks wonderful as far as what it's capable of doing and just the timing of where we are in this transition, in this wealth transfer. Super cheap, by the way. Like I think my 100, like I got $100 worth, and I think I got like 7 million bonk. So there's lots. And you know, even if all that happens and it just comes back up to the all-time high, I'll double my money, right? So I'm good with that. But again, the amount of communication and camaraderie that's within this community is really impressive. And so I anticipate this doing more than that. On to some real world assets now. We've got Woo, which is a social trading platform. And this really encouraging work coming out of them, and they are now in utility phase, and so they are accumulating users. In fact, this weekend there are some specials going on right now for new members, and so I anticipate seeing after this, because we've bounced off of this lower trend line here a couple of times, so I anticipate that this next movement will take us up to this resistance at 25.8 cents. Right now, I've got two positions. The first one that I took was on September 24th, and I'm basically right on par with that one right now. The second trade that I took was a little bit later and at a higher price because I was getting excited. And so that one's down at the moment. But again, I'm still well within the channel. If the price goes down below the start of this channel, that's when I'll be a little bit more concerned and reevaluate my position. But right now, coming up and showing it tested out this lower trend line, and it looks like it's already kind of tried to test again here today. But this is going to definitely find its way up, follow the squiggle line as time goes on, especially as they bring on and onboard their customers here in these next few weeks, and then of course after the election. And the reason, yeah, well, I'll get to that. I'll get to why I think after the election we'll see a lot more action. ARK, beautiful deep retracement. I managed to grab a little bit more here down at the bottom. My first position that I took on ARK is definitely down from September 24th. It's down 34%. And but right now, as you can see, we broke out of this long-term trend line here. And that breakout that occurred right there, that breakout is what gave me that encouragement. So I went ahead and got a position right away, and then I went ahead and got another position here, right there. So I bought here and again there. Now why? It's because I wanted to lower the cost, my average cost per coin. So here, you know, it was at 3 cents. Well, when it got to here, this was at 2.1 cents. So I actually added more as the price came down. Some people think that that's counterintuitive, but it's actually how the wealthy trade. When they are looking at these assets, whenever they see this kind of thing, they're like, oh, the price went down. I'm going to buy some more. Most people, this is where the dumb money does, they buy some and then they panic as the price goes down and then they sell. And guess who they sell to? Now, my average price is not 3 cents. Now it's like 2.5. Probably even, no, it's less than that. I have to do the actual math. But I bought more when it was lower than up here. I actually bought a larger lot size. And so now my average price is probably closer to 2.25 cents. What does that translate into? Well, the all-time high on this particular asset is 15 cents. Well, between here, right now, at this 2-cent level and 15 cents is a 650% growth. Now, this is going to be easy, okay? This is going to be easy for people to do. In fact, there's this one guy that I like to follow, and he's saying that you can't go wrong right now. Like, this is almost too easy, and it's going to end up in a bloodbath because of how easy it is going to be to make money over the next 6 months. This is the wealth transfer. We're here. And so how easy it is going to get people all excited, and they're not going to be paying attention to the fact that this is a bubble. Yeah, in our private sessions, I'll talk more about that, because that's a very controversial topic right now, especially with everybody investing. But the bubble is for real, and we're going to see it happen, but not before this all-time high. The difference between me and most other people who are going to get slaughtered is that when they see this, they're going to get so excited that they think it's going to go to $1. And it might. But I'm going to sell out, and I'm going to take my profits and put it somewhere else where I can experience more growth. So I can compound my interest that way. That's my strategy. And this is the strategy that the wealthy use when they're playing any stock, when they're playing any market. Dollar cost average, DCA it's called. You can get DCA bots that do this automatically for you, and it's a wonderful, wonderful world. But I like to watch the markets day by day and not just trust a robot to do it for me. That being said, trust me, if I find a good algorithm, I'll let you know about it, and we can all plug in and make some money off of that sucker. BitTensor, this is TAO is the ticker. This one here is a major infrastructure project for AI, computing and storage, and they are providing a lot of services to the big data companies. And so I like to watch this chart. This one here had some nice growth here over, September especially, into the beginning of October. Now, mid-October is when it reached this high. It's not in the all-time high. The all-time high is at 793. Is that right? Yeah, I got to change the color of this. All-time high. There we go. So this all-time high is right now the first target. I think that we'll see some resistance from there. But as you can see there, at the mid-October is when it started to dip back down into this pivot zone. This is wonderful because now it's under $500, and this asset is expected to overtake Ethereum. Well, if it overtakes Ethereum, and Ethereum is expected to be at $5,000, but within the next 6 months, it is very likely that this will be north of $5,000. So from here where we are right now, even though the price per coin is $475, and a lot of people there, I don't have $475. It's okay, buy fractions and 10x them. Because that's the kind of growth that we can expect to see with BitTensor. Again, this is going to be a bubble. So don't just think that that's all you're going to do, and then yay, make all the money. No. Sell it. Get the heck out of the digital world. Get the heck out of all the AI stuff for sure. And take your money and put it somewhere else, or hold on to it. Do something productive with it. Make it go up in value in some way, shape, or form, but it won't be on the backside of the AI bubble unless you're going to be like me and rebuy after it drops. Because that bubble is going to drop. And it's going to be gross, and it's going to be a bloodbath. A lot of people are going to lose a lot of money. And in fact, I think they're going to time the false flag cyber attacks along with that crash, just so that they can incentivize people to sign up for their digital ID, so that now everybody will be safe. Anyways, if you haven't been following me, you might get an idea now of where I stand. If you have been following me, you know where I stand. Injective token. Here we actually had a little breakout out of our tiny little pendant here, but we are still using this long-term trend line as support right now. So we are not inside this trend. We might be following a little bit more of a downward trend and had this breakout of this pennant here, but it's still using this line as support. Now I got 2 positions in here as well. The first one, I think this one is June as well. Yeah, middle of June. So right now I'm down 22% on this asset here. But then at the again, I watch what's going on. And the price came down. When the price was actually low, like really, really low, it went down 46% at one point. I was like, okay, let's watch for the next opportunity. So it came back up again. You can see how this played out because we watch it every day. So, oh, let's move it over so my finger can reach. Okay, so I bought here, price went, and actually went up into profit a little bit here, but it hit this long-term trend line, and then it retraced down. Well, when it came down to here, it actually came down pretty fast, and there were a few days in August where I wasn't feeling so well, and so I wasn't looking at the market. It came down all the way down to here. And then I saw what had happened, and it was in here that I was like, okay, if I get another retracement below, I'll take it. I'll open up another position. And sure enough, we got some growth. We went and retested the trend line, and then it came back down and hit right there. Once it was here, I was like, okay, time to get the money in. And it was, what is this? I think the 7th of October, I think it was. Yep, sorry, 7th of September rather. 7th of September, right, oh, I wasn't moving my hand along with my, there we go. Right there is where I added more position. So bought here and again here, and I bought more here than I did there. So my average price right now, I checked this one out, is about 18 cents. Well, my first purchase was up at 25 cents, 25 and a half cents. So this purchase here being larger at 16.4 cents, I brought my average way down. So now my average is actually almost down the middle of this pivot zone here. That's the average price that I bought this asset. So I'm in a really good position because the all-time high, let's get that marked, is $53. Well, from where we are right now, that's 168% growth. That's nice, especially on the Injective token. The Injective token, the reason why I like it is because it's a project that really values interoperability. We are headed into a world where we're not going to be thinking about what currencies people are using. You've got your currency that you use, and then the person that you're doing business with has the currency they're using, and you're just going to do trades. You're not even going to know what the other currency is that they have. The interoperability of people's means of exchange is what's going to allow for more lateral freedom across the globe. And this particular asset is going to be one of the leaders in that, Them and ADA on the Cardano network. All right, Desync. This is, man, I just feel like talking about it every day, but this is like the fries and soft drink of profitability. If you took the fast food industry, all the money they make off of fries and soft drink, that's what Destra is set up to do. They're set up to provide the extras for all of the AI infrastructure. And instead of getting right into AI, they're like, no, let's get into the storage of AI, because they recognize the same thing that I did about NVIDIA. NVIDIA making all of these different AI chips, they're doing great. They're just taking the market over. I mean, they just surpassed Apple as the largest corporation in the world. Makes sense. They're going into AI, right? No, that's not why they're becoming the biggest company in the world. Their biggest moneymaker is not AI. Biggest moneymaker is the storage, cloud storage for AI. So that's what Desync has done as well. They're like, hey, if that's where the money is, let's do that. And I agree, because it doesn't matter what happens to AI. We're still going to need to store it somewhere. We're still going to need to host it somewhere. We're still going to be delivering our content to someone else. Well, the Destra network that's exactly what they're aiming to do. So can move that a little bit more, get some more real estate on the screen there. 0 by 0. Desync. I wasn't quite done. Got a couple positions here. I bought back in June, again, beginning of September, and then again here on October 10th. So these three positions, they all have now given me an average price of about 16 cents. So between all of them, at 16 cents, the all-time high is going to give me 139% returns. Now, I'm not going to be selling there. I'm going to be continuing onwards up to $1. And then when it's at $1, I will be reevaluating. So even now, if you get in, we're at, where are we at? It's here, just 16.9. So essentially 17 cents, still 124% growth. Wonderful little asset. 0 by 0. You can see this long-term trend line that we were following for a while, broke out of it, but there middle of September. And then since that time, we've been kind of following that line as support. It's been dipping down a little bit more aggressively here over the last week or so. But you know what? Look at that low. That's a beautiful point of support there, just under 10 cents. And in the past, that's provided some great support. And because of the timing of where we're at, I expect this to take off shortly after we see Bitcoin and Ethereum set some new highs. Couple positions as well with this. I got one here September 15th, and then another one that I opened up literally at this price point on the 8th of September. So between the two of those positions, this one I would have to go back and check the math, but between these two positions, I believe my average price is going to be around this 12, 13 cents, if I remember correctly. And that growth will likely result in 300% growth, just taking me back to the all-time high. Again, I expect it to be $1. But that being said, because this is AI, I do anticipate there being some resistance on our way up. And so what I'll probably end up doing is, I'll just give this a little squish here. So what I'll probably end up doing is that after the price comes up to the all-time high, I'm going to wait for it to go up a little bit higher, up to that. I'll definitely wait for it to go up a little bit higher, and I want to see the retracement. So when it gets here, I'm going to wait a little bit more, and I'll be watching numbers, be watching where the whales putting their money. Are we seeing some whales sell off? Then I'm going to go ahead and sell, and I'll rebuy when it comes back to this which will be old time all-time high, and that's when I'll be reinvesting. So I'll be able to take my profits and likely add another 30% or so to the portfolio from just that purchase there. So that's my intent. Three protocol. I still haven't bought this one, but you know what? You should. That's not financial advice. This asset here, Three Protocol, they're really setting. They're setting new precedents. I mean, imagine how much control there is within the financial system, how much you have to reveal who it is that you are using, or rather reveal your government issued ID. It's not who you are. And in order to work with finances within the system. Well, this company here is issuing Visa cards without the requirement of submitting your ID. So what does that mean? Apparently, these cards, you can go ahead and swipe them. Money gets transferred, but there's no attachment to your identification. Again, government identification. That would be pretty neat. So they came into utility there towards the end of September. And since that time, they've kind of been hanging out. I expect this to skyrocket once we see the election over and the injection of users coming into the blockchain ecosystem over the coming months. And that will result in all those waters going up. And Three Protocol, definitely $1, anything under $1 will probably be on sale. Right now, sitting at 7 cents, that would be a nice return. Link still following this long-term trend line very, very well. It's fairly consistent as far as, no big spikes and big pump and dump or anything like that, which is good to see. I mean, it's not bad if it's, if there's a pump and dump asset, but this one in particular because of its stability and level-headedness within the community. I've got a good feeling that this one will do well, probably go up to $1 as well before the AI pop. So right now at 12 cents, you're looking at an 8x, 800% growth. DEAI, Zero Labs, formed that all-time high a couple of days ago, is retraced back and revisited this pivot point, this pivot zone. Might still see some more retracement, but it'd be nice to find some more support, maybe off of the 59 or 60 cent level. Right now sitting at 66 cents, 66.5. Yeah, we'll see what happens. This one here, I would want to see a deeper retracement coming back into this area. Whether or not I buy, I don't know. I'm pretty leveraged right now. So if I do, it'll be because something else did really well. And I'll come back into this on a nice healthy retracement. But if this does retrace back to the lower level of this pivot point, I'll definitely find something somewhere. FAR. 8th of October, that's right, is when I took that position. This one here is poised for the gaming bubble. As AI becomes more utilitarian, we're going to be watching games take on a completely different face. And if you've been following me for a while, you might know how I feel about games. But the video games of this next generation of this first onslaught of AI projects coming through, video gaming is actually ending up as an instrumental catalyst for the shift in people's consciousness to how this new monetary system works. I know, it's wild. Who knew? Who knew? And I remember saying in 2020, 2021, we got to remember those nerds that got abused, and then bullied in school. They're literally saving the world right now. So let's be nice to them. They're great people. Look at what they're accomplishing. This digital transference of wealth is going to be led by video games. And this asset here is on the Polygon network and providing a lot of infrastructure for video games. We're going to be seeing AI basically develop and generate the imagery of the game as you control your character go through. Imagine that. Building a game is actually not that difficult. You just got parameters, numbers, digits, and interactions between the two. You can figure out that with spreadsheets. It's the generation of the graphics that's actually the most time consuming. But now with AI being able to do that, we're seeing game developers port AIs into their projects, minimizing labor, minimizing release times, obviously making it way better for the user, because now the user doesn't have to load up tons and tons and tons of content in order to play the game. Now the content gets generated as you move your avatar through space-time in the game, kind of like real life, which is actually true. It's a reflection of how things work in real life. And we'll talk about that another time, not during market analysis. No, stay on point here. We live in a virtual reality, folks. We really do. Here's Tron. Beautiful, nice, consistent Tron. We can see here that it's really tightly following this middle line, but still coming up all the time. Just in this last week, 9 bars. So within the 9 days, it's gone up 7.5%. And that's with virtually no action happening. I mean, yeah, action, some trades happening, some more liquidity coming in, but how consistent this is just so telling. And keep in mind that I am on a logarithmic chart. So as the numbers go up, they get closer together, which means this line here, it looks straight, but in actuality, we're seeing an exponential curve because this graph line here is logarithmic. Now, if you have TradingView and you want to learn how to do that, all you got to do is right click on the price on the price column here. And you go down to logarithmic here. You can go back to regular and it looks kind of wonky, but you can start to see how this is curving. You can, maybe you can't, but I can. These lines will mess you up. The logarithmic one here is really much more representative, and I've been using this for years, basically since the cryptocurrencies came on the market, simply because of the nature of how they move. They move in percentages. Well, the percentage, 50% from 100 looks a lot different from 50% at 20, right? So I go to a logarithmic scale because I want to see the percentages. I don't want to see just the number of pips like in old school trading. Anyway, onwards. Solana holding its own here in this pivot zone right now at 172. This is expected to be 500. I would not be surprised if the all-time high is actually met here within the next couple of weeks, especially after the election. That already is a 50% growth. So if you've got a nice little nest egg and you want to have something a little bit more conservative than, say, a video gaming coin, Solana might be a good option for you, because it is expected to be at 500. So for where we are right now, 172, going up to 100, or rather going up to 500, that's 194, 191% increase. So you're almost doubling. Wait a second, how is that possible? 173. Yeah, that's right. It's more than double. I don't know what I was thinking. 100% is double. 194, that's even more. You're tripling it. XRP hanging out underneath this trend line, no problem. Looks like it's accumulating. I expect it to have a nice big jump hitting up this top trend line before it finds any resistance. And between here and there, that's actually a nice little 32% movement, likely to happen within days. Look at when it moves. When it moves up, it comes up very quickly. In a matter of 5 days, it can do that. Look for this one here. This one took what? How many days? 2 days. Oh, 3 days. Yeah, I can see I didn't grab it wrong. Yeah, so 3 days and it went up 48%, right? So this type of movement can happen very, very quickly. So you might want to grab that opportunity. Modic, Polygon, kind of looks like Sundog in some respects, in the way that it, had that descending wedge and now is dipped down underneath. Do not be discouraged by this at all. This dip here, all of the cryptocurrencies experienced this on last Friday, and so now we're seeing it find support here at that 32-cent level, it looks like. And my position that I got here on October 8th is definitely down 13%, but that, again, like, that's nothing in cryptos. You can get that back in an hour in some cases. All-time high though, all-time high is just under $3. And so from where you are right now, this price right here, this is an 800% increase, just going to the all-time high. And I expect this to occur over the next, I would say, 3 to 6 months, similar to what we're going to watch with the bubble, with the AI bubble. ADA, still hovering. We can see that consolidation is just accumulating right now. Look at that. It's beautiful. Let's actually get this. Wait a second. Oh, I've got 2 ADAs. That's right, because I got Tether and then I've got this one. Well, let's use this because my chart is here. So we have this little tiny channel here that got broken out, and we found support in that 31-cent range, and we're now pressing up against the top end of this pivot zone. And this, oh, I don't really want another one. That pivot zone at the top of that is right now 35 cents US. And this one here, I expect a couple of major moves. The first one, and right now my squiggly line's not bad, but I'm going to change it up. Yeah, no, you know what, it's okay. I'll leave it there. So this Oh, that's that point there. Okay, great. So this movement, I expect us to find some resistance at these various levels. You might not, I've got it fairly dim. I like to have my lines more so in the background unless, you know, it's like a projection or maybe a trend line. I'll keep it a little bit more bold, but you might be able to see these different levels. I got a level at 41 cents, 46 cents, another one at 51 cents. These are all different levels of interest where the price likes to pivot. And so I expect it to climb up this all the way up to the 2024 all-time high. So it's not really all-time high. I don't know why I called it that. But this point here is going to provide some major resistance. After that, and I believe this here will all occur shortly within weeks after the election. So, you know, by the end of November, especially, we will see this rise from where we are right now, this 35-cent level, 35.7, up to 80 cents. It's going to give us that 126% return. Now, it'll zigzag its way up there. After that, into December, January, I think we're going to see something parabolic occur. And it's going to end up bringing us closer to that all-time high by spring. Probably March, April, this will be at that $3 mark. So right now, where we're at, 35 cents, I mean, who would complain with a 750% growth? I don't think anybody would. If they do, well, they're spoiled. Ethereum. Ethereum had that nice breakout there. We are definitely pressing upwards. The bulls are winning, but the bears keep bringing things back down. And now I believe that this is a result of the market manipulation that the BlackRocks, Vanguards, JP Morgans are now applying to Ethereum and Bitcoin through the form of ETFs. This is going to continue. We're going to see more manipulation, and I'm not worried about it. I don't care. It's fine. I know what they can manipulate and what they can't manipulate. This is just one of the ones that they can. So what do? Well, I have an exchange that I like to use for my day-to-day Canadian dollar spending, my fiat spending. So what I do with that particular app is that I just switch back and forth between Ethereum and Canadian. And I just do it because it's a free transaction. Yeah, they've got spread and all that stuff, but typically speaking, the amount of movement that I get from here, you know, going up to here, that's 15%. That's more than enough to pay for the transaction fees as I make those trades. So when the price is low, I take all my Canadian dollars that I have normally there, ready for me to, you know, buy my coffee or, you know, go to the grocery store, and I will turn it all into Ethereum. And then when the price is high, I'll just go ahead and switch it out of Ethereum and have it sit in Canadian. And then that way I know I got the most of my money, the most I can get out of that money. When the price, when it's here and it's in Canadian, I watch. And when the price of Ethereum comes down, I go ahead and switch it back again. Now, if the price is down here and I've got Ethereum and I need some Canadian dollars, no problem. I'll just, you know, transfer whatever I need for that transaction. But doing this is really, really a powerful strategy, especially when you can really watch for the patterns. Well, the pattern here is this between these two white trend lines. Now that is starting to minimize. So I'm probably not going to do this. I'm probably not going to do it for a while. Probably just keep it in Canadian for the time being. Yeah, maybe 50-50. I don't know. It's either going to find some support off of this line here. It looks white on screen, but it's actually green on mine. Oh, right, because I have a green screen, so it's coloring it out. So this one here is the 2180 level. If we drop down, I think we're going to find support there like we did in the past, right there and there. And then after that is when we're going to see it take off. Now, that's if it goes down. We're so close now to the election, it might not at all. This might be the support line it needs to be able to push up. Now, we do have a long-term trend line here, this long pink one. That one, like I've drawn a squiggly line here, that one there, I've marked off as I believe that that's going to provide some resistance before it comes back to find that support down the middle of this channel, or down the middle of this pennant. Once it has that, it'll have the support it needs to hit up these lines here and eventually work our way back to the all-time high, way up here at 48.64. So yeah, that's Ethereum. Let's go on to Bitcoin, the gold standard. Almost formed a new high a few days ago. It's retraced since then, finding support, looks like at around, we've around the $69,000 level. Don't be discouraged by this, folks. Look at this. Like, if we just look at this, let's go to the week chart. This chart is only from March 2019. This is just beautiful. Bumping up against the top of this is one of the most encouraging things that we can see with this asset. Now, I'm not sold on Bitcoin, but I don't even have any. I don't even hold it. And the reason why is because I think other assets are going to outperform this considerably. But as a benchmark, after elections, within the next 3 to 6 months, it's expected to be at 100 to 120,000 US. Well, that's a nice growth. That's actually a really nice growth. There's 120 right there, 67% growth. Now, what does that mean? It means that, well, the price action doesn't really mean much. The onboarding is what we're watching occur. Okay, that's what we're watching occur right now. We're watching the onboarding of everybody from the old monetary system into the new one. And Trump's a big part of that, bringing people into that new one. I believe he's trying to bring people into the CBDC and avoiding, the other banking institutions. I could be wrong. But it doesn't really matter, because when this onboarding occurs, everybody coming in, buying Bitcoin, that's what's going to bring that price up to that $120,000 level. There's going to be a lot of demand for it. But it's when the money's here inside this ecosystem, this digital currency ecosystem, realm, universe. Once it's here, they're going to be bombarded with more opportunities. Hey, take your Bitcoin and exchange it for XRP. Exchange it for FAR. Oh, I'm on a weekly chart. Exchange it for FAR. Exchange it for Link. They're going to get marketing from all of these companies. See, that's why I'm more invested in these companies. I actually don't really care too much about that first entry that people have into Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's great. Awesome. You got started. But that's not where the growth is going to occur. This is going to be a staging area, Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is a staging area for the people as they onboard. The reason why I went after all of these altcoins and I invested pretty much everything I don't hold in gold and silver. I haven't had a balance of over $500 in fiat for years. I mean, I have to pay rent and whatever else, but that's it. Everything that I've been doing has been looking into these coins. Why? Because these are the marketing masters that are actually producing real world assets that are backing these projects. And because of their risk that they've taken, they are all very, very invested in having good marketing. And so these are the coins: Desync, Injective, ARK, Woo, even some of those memes, FAR. These are the companies that are actually going to be driving this first tsunami of users into investing. And so that's why I chose them. That's why I position myself this way. That's why I don't really care too much what Ethereum and Bitcoin does, what they do, because This is where the money is going to be made by the individuals who are building real world things. A lot of exchanges will be settling contracts with the L1, like the layer 1 coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, all that stuff. But beyond that, this is where the producers are. This is where the market movers are, the people that are actually creating innovations that are going to last for decades into the future. Now, whether or not these companies last that long, I have no idea, but it's their technologies that they have that will be ushering forward this renaissance. And so that's why I have gone with them. I think that these guys are actually going to be a little bit delayed from like the Ethereum and Bitcoin and stuff like that. They're going to be a little bit delayed in their price action simply because it takes time for people to figure out what they're going to do when they move their Bitcoin, right? They're moving Bitcoin and Ethereum into their exchanges, and then they're going to be presented with those opportunities to come into these opportunities, into these, into these coins here, the alt. So that's my rationale there. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. I don't see any comments here. Yeah, love to hear what it is that you guys are looking at. We can analyze together. If you would like to have the link to join our little studio here where you can chat live, because what happens after I do market analysis here is that I go off live, but I stay inside our little studio here, and our private members, we just chat for a while. So if you would like access to that, you send me a DM or leave a comment and I'll make sure that you get that link. But thank you so much for tuning in, guys. It's November 1st, of all things. Election here comes, and I'm glad to be a part of it with you. So everybody have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.